times. 4 times. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bump these hoes. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work, guess it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that, man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peak these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Mono. Living super clean. That done came up. 1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of in the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Be help me, shout let the silly go. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Sorry about that, y'all. Just in case you haven't noticed, yes, I'm in a new location. My husband got me moved over to some space, and I really like it, y'all. It's a little more intimate for our conversations. Yamaya, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Feed me righteously. So happy to see all of you with me this evening. Thank you so much for being here. I know why you're all here. We're going to get to that. first thing I want to do, of course, is just a few announcements. Can't let you guys forget about F3 Fringed Up Family Fest. That is coming on July 30th at Bean Acres in Atlanta. We went out to see it this week. I've been meaning to post the content. I just haven't had time to edit it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful location. There's a lake. You can fish. There are ducks. It's amazing. Head over to the website, www.3mgmusic.com. You can get your tickets if you want to be a vendor, if you want to be a sponsor. All your information about the F3 Fringed Up Family Fest can be found at www.3mgmusic.com. Please allow me to reintroduce myself, or introduce myself if you're new here. I am at Miss Mono's World on all of your socials. Allow me to introduce you to my husband, the one and only Monologue Dad. Take a peek at our socials. Take a peek at his socials. You can see his music, old podcast episodes, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe if you're on Facebook, YouTube. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Shout out to our sponsors, the Print Doctors, Top Tier Parties, and always, always Mono's Westside Bullies. I'm setting up my Instagram. Please forgive me, you guys. I did not have my Instagram ready. Okay, we ready. All right. So, of course, this is why Boaz don't want your ass. And so originally my topic was going to be fake independence, but I believe that this is all going to streamline into that, okay? The first thing that I want to bring up is it was hard for me to bring it up because I didn't want anybody to think that I didn't want anyone to misunderstand what I was saying. And surely then I thought, okay, well, if this is bought out, you can't help but agree, right? And my point is this. I'm gonna show y'all the video and then we're gonna talk about it. Hold on. Let me show the video and then we'll talk about it. Did I have the video queued up? I didn't have the video queued up. No problem. Yeah, and now she's suing the city. Now she's suing them, but because I had this conversation with someone, and they were trying to tell me that I was wrong, even though there's a video. So let's look at the video and then we'll talk about it, okay?
Help your journey to finding forever home.
Tune in
to Dog Tales on Chicago Wednesday, 21st, presented by Brilliant Subaru.
Get your food! Who? Get in the car? Who? Get your.
Okay, so y'all see them arguing, right? You see them arguing, and her. I just want to agree on what's in this scene. Her child is not there, and it looks to me like no one is blocking her from leaving. No one is trying to stop her from leaving. No one's blocking her exit. None of that. Okay, let's continue.
Food. Get your food. If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my God!
Okay, and not to excuse this man's behavior, because it is never okay for a man to hit a woman. Never okay. However, this man is clearly agitated. He's clearly aggressive, and he's threatened her with violence loud and clear. So there's no confusion about what's going on right here.
That one thing will knock you out. That one thing will knock you out.
Okay. So I posted I made a comment about this because ever since this has happened, the only sentiment has been congratulating the son. And don't get me wrong, let me be clear. The son absolutely did the right thing. Okay. He walked in on this man punching his mother. And he walked in on the second and on the third punch is when he shot the man, which he should have done. I have nothing to say about that. He didn't have a choice in the matter. He had to protect his mom. Okay. So I just want to be clear on that. My issue is with the mother. Okay. She's not a victim here. She's not a victim. I'm going to tell you why she's not a victim. She was not in a situation where she had no choice anymore. She was not in a situation where she could not consciously act of her free will. If you ask a law enforcement or a healthcare person, when does a situation become an emergency? It's when the person no longer has a choice. That was not what happened here. And I was trying to find the clip that I saw yesterday on the news where it showed her standing there, pulling out her phone and texting her son. That very act alone should be enough to prove to anyone that she had more than enough time to walk away. Now, the response that I was met with was, why should she walk away? It's not her responsibility to regulate this man's emotions. And I agree. It is not her responsibility. What's up to my people on IG? I'm sorry, y'all. It is not her responsibility to regulate this man's emotions. Absolutely. It is her responsibility, however, to protect herself and her child. I mean, one of the first things that I remember my cousin talking to me about when she had her kids was, oh, no, I will never fight when I'm with my kids. And my cousin is known to be a fighter. Like she, boop, 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 no problem. But she makes it very clear. And, you know, I don't fight when I'm with my kids. I don't argue with people when I'm with my kids because they could just as easily do something to me and harm my child. I'm not understanding. King 7, shalom and shalom. I'm not understanding why is her first thought, let me text my child to bring him to this danger? Why isn't the first thought, let me remove myself and my child? And unfortunately, I'm not hearing Black women have this conversation. I have been hearing Black men have this conversation, however. I have not been hearing Black women have this conversation. Black women just want to I don't understand why we refuse to call each other out, right? Because even in the interaction I had earlier, the person I was talking to was like, well, how do you know what happened? Ma'am, there's a whole video. The video shows her arguing with this man, picking up getting her phone out. Listen, I'm gonna tell you how nonchalant she was. She was so nonchalant, she reaches in her purse to pull out her phone. If I am in danger and I am scared, I'm not thinking that I'm gonna be calm enough to sit there. I mean, calmly pulls out her phone. Why isn't the thought at that point, you know what, let me go, but before it goes there, let me leave? Why wasn't that her thought process? And why aren't we saying anything about that? And please hear me, I'm not anti-black. I'm very much a black woman. I very much love my people. But more than I am pro other black women, I'm pro black kids. And that child should not have been put in that situation. Or she could have just shut up. That too. That's and I don't understand why we're at the point where we feel like our egos are so important that nothing else matters. Our egos are so important that us proving ourselves or not being disrespected is the ultimate thing. There was nothing in that moment to justify her arguing with this man. The Bible tells us don't argue with a fool because after a while, no one can tell the difference between the two. And regardless of what, he was wrong. Okay. Yes. The man that hit her was 100% wrong. However, he's not living with the consequences of his actions. He's not. His family is suffering. Yeah. The lady is suffering. Her son is suffering. And what was her purpose in standing there? No son or gun there. She would have just got knocked out and she could have stopped going back and forth. Exactly. What if her son wasn't there? What if he didn't have that gun with him? This would be a totally different story. We'd probably be doing a GoFundMe for her because this man knocked her head in. And then this goes to a whole other issue. The fake independence. We're going to tie all that in. We're going to tie all that in. Because, shalom, Angelina. Like, share, subscribe if you're on the YouTube, the Facebook, at Miss Mono's World or at Monologue McGad. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. Also, listen, if you agree with what I'm saying, you like what I'm saying, you feel like more people need to hear this, please head on over to the Cash App. $1 or $2 do. I'm not trying to rob y'all. I don't want all your lunch money or nothing like that. Hand us just $1, $2, something. A little something. All right, but here's the thing, right? I think that I would think that at her age, if this woman appears to be in her 30s or 40s, okay? I would think that at her age and with this day and time that we're living in, that at her age, she would have that wisdom in her to know, first of all, you don't argue with a grown man. I'm not understanding this. And again, I'm gonna blame this on the fact that she had a gun. That's really what I think it is. Because why would I, as a woman, in my right mind, stand there and argue with a grown man? What sense does that make? And see, again, here we go with this equality talk coming back to bite us in the behind, right? Because when old boy started going to work on her, it was awfully quiet. It wasn't no back talk. I need y'all to understand that. You are no match for a man. Okay? And you know, it's so much. And I have to say this, like, I'm so very thankful to my husband. Because I can't say, I don't know if I would have this thought process if it were not for him and his leadership and his guidance. So I definitely want to point that out. Thank my husband for that. And I hate to say this, but you know, single mom, 14-year-old son, you see how she out here acting. And and see, here's where else it gets even more messed up, right? Because you out here arguing with this grown man, which clearly shows that you don't respect men. You don't know how to respect men. You don't know what regard to hold a man in. Like, you don't. The fact that you are out here screaming and arguing with this man, and even after he told you, hey, shut up, I'm about to knock you out, you still continue to go on. I do not think that it is far off for us to venture to say that this is probably why she does not have a man right now. Everybody doesn't play by the rules you play by. He says, say one more thing and I'm gonna knock you out. At this point, it's time to shut up or dip. Thinking he won't hit you is crazy. Thank you. He said it. He said it multiple times. He said it multiple times. And I don't know what orbit she was in mentally to where she couldn't or refused to take this man seriously. Especially now, there are rumors. I mean, I haven't seen this on a video or anything, but there are rumors saying that his girlfriend was there encouraging him to hit her. Even more of a reason to leave, because now it's two of y'all that's crazy enough to, you know what I'm saying, to have this man putting his hands on me. Even more of a reason to leave. The child will never be the same. And that's a 14-year-old honor student. Honor student. And now he has to deal with the fact that he took another man's life. No matter how much we try to congratulate him and, oh, you did the right thing, the fact of the matter is this child experienced something traumatic that is going to affect him for the rest of his life. And honestly, at the end of the day, when you sit down and think about it, and he asked his mother, why didn't you walk away? What is she going to say to him? How is she going to explain to him why she had to mess up his life over an argument over what? Some hot dogs? Some hot dogs? It ain't that good. It doesn't matter who was at. They said that they were arguing about who was at the front of the line. It does not matter. And so, again, when are we as Black women gonna start calling each other out on our crap? Because if she wouldn't have had the gun and that fake false sense of security, would this situation have been different? If she'd have had a man there with her, this probably would have never happened in the first place. It would have never happened. And see, we want to talk about why black men don't want to protect us, why they don't want to deal with us, why we can't find a good black man. Look at how you're acting. Who wants to deal with a woman like that? And listen to me, if that's how she's acting in the street, I can guarantee you she's worse than that at home. I guarantee if that's how she acting in the street, she's worse than that at home. Good niggas at his school, anytime he tries to stand up for himself, gonna be like, right, exactly. They gonna try him. Exactly. That poor child. The child won't ever pick up a gun again. She is wrong for going back and forth with him. You can't beat a man. I mean, I don't know if he's never gonna pick up a gun again. I would hope that he's not scared of firearms, because I'm an avid believer in carrying a firearm. But that. And then when people blame black women for the problems in society, we always want to try to pass the buck. But no, ma'am, sis cousin, this was a prime example right here of a black woman causing a problem. I don't care who started the argument. I don't care who started the argument. Listen to me. Any man that argues with me as a woman, like, I already assume dude is off his rocker. I'm already assuming that he is nuts. Because first of all, like, I've been in situations like, okay, we was at Sam's today. I had the boys in the cart, and me and this guy got to the door at the same time. And I was like, oh, go ahead, you could go. He was like, no, y'all go ahead. That's what most men are gonna do. Like, oh, she good. Let's just get her food first. So the fact that this Negro felt empowered enough, motivated enough, whatever, the fact that he felt enough to stand there and argue with a grown woman, that would have been the first sign for me. That would have been the first sign for me. The woman the Bible speaks of that tears down her house. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what she's doing. That's exactly what she did. And I mean, look, I hate to do this, right? Because I don't want to be cliche, and I love my sisters. So this is not me trying to come down on black women or anything, but y'all, the video, it's literally a video. And in the interaction I was having earlier, this is a sister. She's like, well, everyone's perception of video is different. And I just like, okay, when you start talking like that, now I'm going to stop talking to you, because you're determined to keep making excuses for wrong, and I'm not about to keep doing it. I'm not about to waste my breath arguing with that, okay? But is that the world? Is that where we're at as black women? We don't even care enough to protect our children now. We're putting our kids in the line of fire. Okay, you text your son to bring the gun. Buddy could have had a gun. Buddy could have had a gun. And he had somebody else with him. You don't know what they was packing either. Why do you think you're the only person in the world carrying a gun? A blind person could see he was off his rocker. Thank you. As soon as the video came on, I knew something was wrong with dude. Listen, and y'all like to talk about don't judge people by how they look, but boo, it's 2023. I judge people by how they look. I do. And if you look crazy, I'm going to give you the distance that your craziness looks like it needs. We be wrong, though. I have been like that, and it doesn't get you anywhere but single, beat up, and bitter. Because if you will go toe to toe like that with a man that you don't know, what regard do you have for a man that you think has some kind of respect or love or like for you? I don't. And let me tell you something. I don't wish an abusive relationship on anyone. I don't. But we have got to stop acting like we have it all together when the fact is that we really don't. Okay, and this is gonna go into the fake independence. So let's go here. Let's reset. Like, share, subscribe if you're on the YouTube at Monologue McGad or at Miss Mono's World. Shalom and shalom to everyone on Facebook. What's up to my Nasaya TV audience? I'm so sorry, you guys. If you're watching me on Nasaya TV, a hearty what's up to you. Feel free to hop on YouTube or Facebook to jump in the conversation. Don't turn off the TV. Keep me on your TV. Get on the phone. Head over to the YouTube, to the Facebook. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you liking what you're hearing or you just love what we're doing here at the House of Mono, please give from the bottom of your heart, the bottom of your purse, $ the House of Mono on Cash App. $1 or $2 will do. We thank you in advance. Oh, Shira's here with me. I wish I could hold her up so y'all could see her, but Shira's in the building. Okay, so this is going to tie into my main topic of the fake independence. And it came from a clip that I was sent, and I did not prepare that clip because I was so worried about this thing. But in the clip, it's Shazrali. I don't know how many of you are familiar with her. Phenomenal teacher on Black women. She talks about how a lot of Black women claim to be independent, claim to not need a man, but the whole time they're on government assistance, they're getting help from here, they're doing ungodly things to make a living and all this other stuff. Okay. And I was like, great, this ties perfectly into that, right? Because, and see, I'm careful because I don't want people to think that I'm just going off of assumptions here, right? But logical deduction and observance of the situation would lead anyone to come to like the speculation that she is like this because she don't know how to control her mouth, right? The gun gave her a sense of that fake independence. Because like I said, once Buddy decided to put his hands on her, it got quiet. She didn't have anything to say. So all that tough talk now is out the door. And so that led to my other question. If she didn't have the gun, what would have happened? Would it have been all that tough talk if she didn't know that her son was outside with the mystery mouse tool? It goes into how we like to fake in front like we got it all together. We like to fake in front like, oh, we don't need a man for this. We can, build on our own. We can be a boss by ourselves. But honey, babies, let me tell you, like a lot of this independence that you see on social media is really debt. It's really having stuff in other people's names. It's really government assistance. And hear me out, okay? There's nothing wrong with government assistance if you need it. Listen, if your mama and your daddy can put their car and it can put your car in their name or whatever, if they can gift you a car, that's cool. Nobody's mad at however you're getting by, okay? The problem is, though, when you use that to fake in front to other people and putting them down in the process, and not just other people. Okay, we're talking about the relationship between Black women and Black men here. Okay, so we're taking this supported, right? You're really being supported by others. And we are repackaging that as some type of independence, some type of I don't need a man. When the fact of the matter is, it's the man himself that's supporting you. So it's not that you don't need a man, because you do. It's really fake. People that's really getting money be out the way. Right, exactly. I don't have time to tell you how independent I am. You really are dependent on a man. And the thing about that man that you're dependent on, you don't mind being dependent on him because he's not going to require too much of you, right? I mean, you got to send in your check stubs. You might have to let them come inspect your place every now and then or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things you have to do, I guess, but they're not in your house every day trying to lead you in the direction that they feel the Most High is leading them in. Okay. They're not in your house every day challenging you. They're not challenging you to grow. They're not challenging you to submit to the Lord at a higher level. There's none of this moral reflection, right? Because that's what a husband is. It's a reflection of you. You put something out there and he responds. And now, how do you feel about that response? Do you like the way this is going? You don't ever go through that because you're cool with your EBT deposits. You're cool with all of your stuff being in someone else's name. You're cool with being in mountains of debt, trying to perpetrate. Like, you're cool with all that, anything to keep you from having to submit to a man. And it's not that you don't want a man, don't need a man, because y'all sure keep popping up pregnant. It's not that you don't want a man, don't need a man. You had a man in your bed last night. You don't want to be, you don't want to have to listen to anyone. You don't want to listen. If women did not have a power, there would be nothing to submit. Okay. But the sad thing about the Black woman is we've been lied to about our power, right? And we have been persuaded to use it in the total opposite of what it's meant for. What do I mean by that? What's the message now that Black women are being sent about men? What are they good for? Run his pockets. If he can't provide a certain life, then he's not good enough. It's never. Shalom, Unika. Thank you for joining me. The message you hear is not about growth and structure and stability and finding a compatible mate and becoming one and growing your own thing together. It's never about that. And it's even the rappers that are married, even the celebrities that are married. That's not the message that they're giving us. Okay. They're feeding this message of fierceness and, whatever they want to call it. But not really helping the girls figure out what that is, what it looks like, and what it's really supposed to be. And so you have situations like the tragedy that just occurred. Brianna says shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me, sis. Right? Because we're not being told the truth about who we are. We're not being told the truth about the power that we do possess as women. We go out here and we misdirect that energy, and we're using it to the exact opposite of what it's supposed to be for. Your energy, your power, and your support is supposed to be to support your husband while he's leading your family. You know, some of us, most of us, I hope you all realize how beautiful you are. And how attractive you are. Like, I hope y'all realize that. You're beauty, and the Bible does say beauty is a gift, okay? That gift is not for you to go out here and see how many different men you can scam, how many different men you can. It's just not what that's for. It's not for you to go out and play the whore, okay? And I'm not supposed to say that, but that's what you're doing out here, having sex for Happy Meals and Waffle House All-Star deals. Because you're playing a cheap whore doesn't mean you're not still a whore. But anyway, I mean, that's not what your beauty is for. Your beauty is to encourage your husband when he's come home after a long day of dealing with the world. That's what it's for. Okay? Your mouth and the passion that you feel is not to go against your husband. Take that energy and direct it towards praying for your husband. Direct it towards cleaning the house and cooking and making the home comfortable for your husband. Direct it toward helping with his children. Like, you are so busy doing everything else that your first ministry is not being taken care of at all, because we feel like our power for some reason is in how much money we can make, or how many stages we can stand on, or how many people will come and hear us evangelize, how many likes we can get on Instagram, how much I can monetize on YouTube, when the fact of the matter is, the Bible never calls a woman's importance based on how she provides. That's never. It's a man that doesn't take care of his family. It's not that. And I don't know where or when this entered into the equation. I guess I'm guessing it's a byproduct of equality, to where now you feel like your worth as a woman is based on how much you can act like a man. Because why else am I standing here arguing with this grown man unless I feel like I have something to prove? Shalom and shalom to everybody on my IG. Please head over to the YouTube at Monologue McGad or at Miss Mono's World so you can participate in the chat. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell everybody. If I did not feel that my importance as a person was based on my comparison to a man, why would I stand there and argue with that man? If I didn't feel like I had something to prove to this man, if I don't feel like some part of me is being degraded, downplayed, or whatever, why else am I going to stand here and argue with this man? For what? There's no threat. So why else? It's not independence. It's really rebellion, and y'all just don't want to call it that. And in this day and time, yes, it's a hard conversation to have, but the fact of the matter is, we have to admit that, wow, we have just strayed so far away from the Most High's original plan for the family, the Most High's original plan for women, for men, and for children. We are just so far away from that right now, to the point that marriage is just like a repulsive thought. And I'm not, listen, I get it. Yes, we've had some bad examples. I say a lot of times, like, I grew up around people who showed me what I did not want to do. You understand what I'm saying? And I get that. But even with that, and I'm sure a lot of you would agree, we find ourselves still making these same mistakes and still perpetrating the same cycle of bad relationships, abusive relationships, and bad decisions. Let's see. The masculine energy is also exhausting because it wasn't meant for women to have. Girl, very exhausting. Very. You can never your value as a woman. I know y'all gonna be mad at me for saying this, but I have to say it. Like, your value as a woman really comes from the impact that you make on and through your family. And listen, I know we live in the day of the CEO and the girl boss and all that stuff. But if we really just take a moment and look at what's going on in the world around us, all this feminism, female empowerment, equality, I'm just as good as you are, has landed us in a place where a man don't mind knocking your block off. And there was at least one other man there. I remember the first video that was on Facebook. They showed a man running when when Buddy punched the lady. They showed a man running out. Granted, he was an older man, but he was still a man. Okay. Even more of a sign to her that if another man is not even, willing to intervene or anything, that I should just walk away from this man. But anyway, it's the fact that the other man that was there didn't even step in. And I'm not mad at him. No, please hear what I'm saying. I'm not mad at that man because he had enough sense to see that this is stupid and that nigga's about to hit her. So I'm not mad at him because I'm not risking my life for your foolishness either. But it's like, of all the warning signs that were there, and that's how we get when we get when we get filled with this, I almost want to call it rage. Because tell me the last time you seen a happy feminist. Tell me the last time you seen a happy independent woman. Tell me the last time you have looked at one of these strong, black, independent, I don't need no man type of women and said, you know what? She seems really happy. Like, she is at such peace in her life. Look at her. No matter how many times they sit here and give these interviews, right? About how they've come to some great revelation or whatever, and they're meditating now or whatever the case may be. What happens? You hear about them having another bad relationship. Like, it's a never ending cycle. And it really boils down to y'all don't want to submit to the Most High. You don't. You're not interested in what God has to say. Not the real God anyway. Not the Most High Yahweh. Whatever God is, what the Bible say? Each man's God is his belly. So whatever your belly desires, that is the God that you wake up and serve every day. But you don't want to serve the Most High. You don't want to come under any kind of rules and regulations. You don't want anybody telling you anything. But what kind of parent sends their child out with no rules, with no guidelines? What kind of parent doesn't chastise their child? What kind of parent doesn't teach, doesn't discipline, doesn't instruct? Why would you want to serve a raggedy God who don't give you no instructions? What kind of raggedy, bootleg, knockoff, golden calf, wooden like what are you serving over there? What are you serving over there? Papa said no. Exactly. He got up out of there. Up out of there. I was about to say the only time I see a woman independent and happy is when they've submitted to the Most High in their way. Yes. Yes, exactly. They have learned to be content. Righteously content, because, you know, having sex while you're waiting is only going to make it worse. Just thought I'd drop that little gem in there for y'all. And but so even in that point, you know, some of y'all out here with these sugar daddies and everything else, and you use that to allude to your fake independence as well. You know, women love to say like, oh, I need me a starting five. I need a man for this. I need a man for that. I need a man for this and a man for that. You don't need a different man for all of that. You could have all of that with one man if you were willing to cooperate with him. If you're willing to work with him. And this is why I keep telling y'all, get to know these men who y'all talking to. Get to know these men you're dating before you lay down with them. Because what you can't do, right? You can't like run into a dude and y'all meet each other and y'all talking and everything cool. And you tell him, oh, I feel like sex is marriage. And then he gonna feel like, okay, well, sex is marriage then. So he gonna feel like when he lay with you, he can tell you what to do. You said, even if he didn't say it, you said in your mind. And then y'all wonder why y'all in all these tricky, messed up situations and can't find a way out, can't figure out how to get out. And it really goes back to what I've been talking about keeping it real with yourself. Keep it real with yourself. Like, no, you are not financially content. You are not independent. You very much depend on other people to take care of you, and that's okay. But be honest with yourself and stop snooting your nose up when you work at McDonald's too. Stop snooting your nose up at the man that's working right there beside you because the government is paying your rent, so you have a little bit of extra money every month. Enough for you to feel like you can fake and front on people. And I don't, again, I have not heard any woman have this conversation. Any woman at all. The lesson that they want to derive from this is, oh, because, you know, they're like, oh, be careful who you hang around because his girlfriend was the one that encouraged him to hit her. That's the lesson y'all got out of this? That you took a lesson from the dead man. Instead of looking at the woman and saying, let's talk about why our good sis here didn't have enough sense to walk away. Can someone please explain to me why this woman thought it was okay? Again, she did not know if this man was packing or not. She didn't know if his girlfriend was packing or not. So you send your son in there with a gun. If had been a grown man there, where first of all, probably wouldn't have been no arguments. But if she had a man, she wouldn't have been acting like that. If she had a man, she wouldn't have been acting like that. A good, decent man, she wouldn't have been acting like that. Because he'd have trained her at home. If he'd have maintenance man, he'd making more than Miss McDonald's. Right? Hey. She wouldn't have been. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna stand on it. If she had a good, decent man at home, she wouldn't have been acting like that. And I'm not calling my husband over no foolishness. Is y'all crazy? You think I want to risk my husband's life over something stupid? I love my man. No, y'all crazy as heck. No, listen, if I'm calling my husband, it's somebody already been shot. Like, there was no way out. And this is the thing. Y'all don't want to answer to nobody. You don't want to answer to nobody. Because the first thing any man was going to ask you is, well, why was you arguing with him in the first place? But you don't want to answer to nobody. You don't want nobody telling you what to do. You'd rather go to jail and be interrogated by the police and put you and your black child's life in the hands of the enemy. See what I'm saying? Like, you deliver yourself to the enemy when you do not walk in wisdom. We sit here and hear these stories all the time about black people going to the police and not coming out alive. So why would you purposely just throw yourself in that situation? Again, there was no immediate threat. She could have walked away. Her child was not in any kind of, her child was in the car. There was no reason for her not to walk away. And I hate to say it. I know y'all gonna be mad because I'm saying it. She should have went to jail. She should have went to jail for endangering the child. For endangering her child. It's not. See, here's the thing. We're past the point of. We're past the point of playing the blame game in the terms of you have to use your common sense, and you have to understand when you're dealing with a person who's maybe a little less scrupulous than you are. And I'm going to say any man that's going to punch with a closed fist now, hold back and punch this woman. I mean, that's a different kind of beast. And it's like, oh gosh, I can't think of a great example, but it's like it's like a person who will continue to walk towards heat, right? Even if it's getting hotter and hotter, you just keep walking toward it. You feel it getting hot, you just keep walking toward it. What is it going to take for us as Black women to understand that we have got to stop with this fake facade and this rebellion that we have going on in our lives? I would think that by now, with the condition of our community, that we would understand that society at large really does not have our best concern at heart. We have had the institution of the Black church for how many years in this country, and we are still no better for it. Now, I'm not saying that, individually people haven't found hope or encouragement. Sure. But what about us as a whole? Can we even go to one community and see it working for an entire group of people? Hell, we can't even keep our families together. And even in the midst of all this, how come the bells aren't going off among us? Why aren't more Black women? Why aren't we calling each other out over our crap? It seems like I don't, it's past denial, right? Because we only want to find vindication where we feel it's important. Like Cardi B suing Tasha K, right? And now Tasha K is claiming bankruptcy and all this other stuff. And good for her. That's what she deserves. She shouldn't have been talking. Oh, y'all got all the smoke for that, but you don't have no smoke for this. Y'all got all the smoke for Tasha K talking about Cardi B daughter, but you don't have no smoke for Cardi B talking about, oh, she don't listen. She don't let her kids listen to the music, but she don't have no problem with your kids listening to it. See, we can't. This just further feeds into the theory that the only reason that the Black woman is elevated is to keep the Black man down. If you understand how class works, or if you've done any, reading about class history, the upper class always has understood that there has to be someone below me in order for me to be up here. And in the name of feminism, the Black woman has been granted access in the name of feminism. Because it has to be about women, right? It has to be all about women. It's all about the matriarchy. To the point where we're putting our sons in danger. We got our kids risking their lives. There's no other way to look at this. And again, I feel like anybody that's going to try to defend this woman's behavior is just looking to make an excuse and to perpetrate this lost state that we're in. You have to be willing to take some personal responsibility. And in order to do that, some people have to be called to task on their behavior, right? But if we're not doing that, see, we don't want to listen to each other. And they're not telling us the truth at church. I know y'all don't like to hear that, but they're not telling you the truth at church. And even, even more of an issue is the fact that so many Black women have left the church and turned to witchcraft. And I don't know this woman's beliefs, but it would not be hard for me to believe that she practices witchcraft, because look at the ignorance that you walk in and that fake sense of empowerment that they get when they start dabbling in like these dark arts. You hear the way they talk about how they're so powerful, and the Black woman is a goddess, and you acted like a fake god. That's exactly how you acted. To the point where we even turn our sons off from wanting to be Black men. I mean, if a little boy grows up and all he hears and all he sees is his mother talking bad about men, and it's always the sisterhood and it's always the matriarchy, what do you expect that man to feel about himself? How do you expect that boy to grow up feeling about himself if all he's ever told is that he's no good and the men that came before him are no good, his daddy wasn't no good, his uncle? How do you expect him to feel? I know how I used to feel when I was a kid and I would mess up and my mother would look at me and say, "Oh, you act just like your father." I know how that made me feel. So, what kind of message does that put into a boy when you're the one thing that all the people that you complain about have in common is the fact that they're a man just like him? All the people that you cry about, that you claim did you wrong in all your life, they're all black men just like your son. So now how do you expect him to feel about himself as a black man? But we still want to keep running from our responsibility to our children. Listen here, ma'am, sis cousin. It's bad enough that you don't want to submit to the Most High, okay? But then you go out here and you make a baby. You don't want to submit to his father. You don't want to listen to anybody tell you you don't want to hear anything that anybody has to say about how to raise your child, right? Can't nobody tell you nothing. What hope, what future, what promise, what are we supposed to be building our sons on? And now, mind you, this lady's son was an honor student. But what is he getting national attention for? What is he getting national attention for? Not for being an honor student, not for getting a full ride scholarship, not for putting his smarts to the good of society. No, he's not getting national attention for that. He's getting national attention for taking the life of another black man. I'm not saying it's his fault. But we as black women have to look at our part in this. How many other black men have senselessly lost their lives? Or how many other black men have had to senselessly pull a trigger because a woman didn't know when to shut up? Or because a woman picked up the phone and exaggerated a situation like we tend to do. And sometimes, guess what? Some men just don't have that in them to take a breath. Because I'm going to tell you, the first thing my husband going to ask me is, what did you say? And I'm not mad at him for that. Again, I'm not sending my husband on no blank mission now. I'm not sending my husband out there for that. But every man don't have that in him to be like, well, hold on. What did you do? Or what did you say? Or tell me what happened. No, they grabbing the toolie and they coming to see what you're talking about. And I can't blame them for that because that's what they're supposed to protect. Yes, they should use wisdom in their protection. But ma'am, sis cousin, you are the match that lit the fire. If you wouldn't have called and all that fuss, that would not have happened. And, I hate to say it, but y'all out here in public and y'all don't know how to act. Y'all don't know how to act. Shalom and shalom. Shout out to everybody on the IG, on the Saya TV. Head over to the YouTube at Monologue McGat or at Miss Mono's World to join in the conversation. You can also hit us up on Facebook. Same things at Miss Mono's World at Monologue McGat. If you feel so led, drop $1, $2, $5. $ the House of Mono on your Cash App. We thank you in advance for your offering. And yes, I was nervous to talk about this because I didn't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. Okay. But the mom had a choice. The son didn't have a choice. So let me just say that. Okay. In no way, y'all saw my earring just fall out. That's crazy. In no way am I blaming the son. Okay. So I just wanted to put that there. All right. But to us as a whole, y'all out here acting like some wild savages. People who have something to lose conduct themselves very different from people who don't have anything to lose. Okay? People who don't have anything to lose stand on the street corner and argue with each other and shoot each other over stupid things and fight each other and get arrested and go to jail, and they don't care because they don't have nothing. There's no job waiting for them. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing for them to do besides go to jail anyway. Even with that, that still doesn't excuse the behavior. Do you not value your life? I mean, is your life not worth anything? And unfortunately, I think why is somebody's life worth you proving a point? And like, what was the point anyway? That you was going to get your food first? And like, yeah, buddy was wrong, but that's still a life. That's somebody's son. That's somebody's dad. That's somebody's brother. We've all, oh my gosh, what does it say in Titus? We've all been deceivers, scoffers, fornicators. Like, we've all had our share in wickedness. And right, so I'm not supposed to say this because he didn't deserve to die for hitting that lady. And I'm going to say it. He did not deserve to die for that. I know, I'm not supposed to say it, but he didn't. Not when it could have been prevented. Like, you know how the police get in an altercation and like somebody like, oh, hell, when they kill one of us because they say they were scared. And we like to say, oh, but you're a police officer. You should have known better. Why we can't apply this same logic to this woman? You're a mother. You should have known better. You're a grown woman. You should have known better. Why is it that we can find the fault when somebody does something to us, but when it's us that's in the wrong, we find nothing to complain about? It's all cheers and applause. No, she did nothing wrong. Just like we talked about last week. Y'all ain't have no smoke for old girl twerking on that 10-year-old boy. No smoke at all. How many times do you hear criticism for women dating multiple men? If anything, y'all hold these women up as some sort of goddess. But let a man be roaming around and he's a dog and he ain't no good. And see, here's what's so messed up about it, right? Because for the longest time, it was like equality. But no, you didn't really want equality. You wanted to be superior. I'm gonna tell you why you wanted to be superior. And it again, this takes maturity and acceptance of what the Bible says regarding men and women. You want to be able to do what a man does, but not have the responsibility of a man. Because you want to roam around, right? You want to do your thing. You want to be able to be a hoe. You want to be able to be, whatever you feel like he's doing. You want to be able to do it too. But when somebody comes to call you out on your ish, it's dead silent. It's quiet. There's no back talk. How do you feel about him hitting her like that? No, let me be clear. He was totally wrong for hitting her. It's a comment from my IG, you guys. He was totally wrong for hitting her, and I will repeat that over and over again. However, the situation could have been prevented. Not only because he warned her twice, okay? Or was it 3 times? He warned her once or twice. But because there was an argument, they argued for minutes. She pulled out her phone and texted her son. She had all that time to walk away and prevent it. Now, I don't assume, I'm not going to put, I don't think I'm putting any unnecessary pressure on anyone when I say, if you are a person of a certain stable mind state, right? And you find yourself in an altercation with someone who may not be playing with the same full deck of cards as you, why wouldn't you separate yourself from that situation? I hate to keep saying the same thing, but it's like, is nobody else seeing what I'm seeing here? That man didn't have to die. Not like that. Not that day. Not at the hands of a 14-year-old. And I'm going to tell you, that's who my heart hurts for. I don't really feel sorry for Buddy family because, again, he shouldn't have put his hands on her. If he wouldn't have been putting his hands on her, got wings instead of chicken, okay? If he wouldn't have been putting his hands on her, also, yes. Okay, but as a mom, one of the first things you learn is you never put your child in harm's way. Never. Oh, see? There you go. Neither was playing with a full deck because if she was, she would have known to leave it alone. So maybe they was both crazy. Who knows? But even with that, my ultimate thing here is, how come nobody's saying anything about that? Why aren't we as Black women advocating for that child? Everybody just want to congratulate him, but no. Why isn't CPS and why isn't somebody on her? Because she should not have done that. And again, how many other Black men have senselessly died or senselessly taken a life because a Black woman called them or texted them over some nonsense, something that could have totally been avoided? This is the reason why you're supposed to walk in wisdom and walk in the law. This is why the Most High laid things out for us. Because if that lady's mind would have been she wouldn't have been arguing with him. She wouldn't have been arguing with him. For all the manifesting and the witchcraft and the this and this, that, it's tight, but it's right. Thank you, sis. For all the powers that women claim to have now, it still means nothing. I read an article about a lady who became like a multi-millionaire off of witchcraft, like off of conjuring. She teaches people how to conjure spirits. And she's made millions of dollars off of this because, she tells them that, they can attract their success and they can manifest the success that they want in their life. Right. And she's made money off of it. And this is what happens. A few get in, they get rich off of it, and now everyone else is following in hopes of getting rich as well. But we all know that that's not that's not how that works. This was very unfortunate, but I feel it could have been prevented if she just walked away and never called her child to the scene. Thank you, and that's all I'm saying. This would have never happened. You could have gotten them hot dogs from somewhere else. I would have gotten my car, and me and my child would have drove away. I mean, what's the worst? First, okay, what's the worst that can happen? If you pay with a card, whoop-de-doo, call the bank, dispute the charge. If you paid with cash, how much cash was it? $20? Bump that $20. Me and my child feeling safe is more important. That's scary. What's scary to me is that no one is saying anything about it. Yeah, over some hot dogs. That's where they was, a hot dog stand. And they was arguing about who was gonna get their food first. And again, I can't say that I've like ran into any kind of man that would like argue with me about something like that. But even if they did, that would be enough for me to be like, you got it, player. Go ahead, get your hot dog, pimp. I'm good. You don't want a man telling you what to do. You don't want a man telling you what to do, but you'll ask your child to pull a trigger. Whoever ordered first gets their food first. Facts, but I mean, look at it now. Ain't nobody got their food. Nobody ate. And then not only that, like as business owners, that really kind of gets to me because now I had to shut my business down. And so it was a ripple effect. It wasn't just a 1-2 argument fight. No, your son's traumatized. Y'all done been in jail. This man's family has to bury him now. These business owners have to live with that now. Who knows how long it took them to clean up and how much money they're going to lose. It doesn't matter. It does matter because it could have all been prevented because this is senseless. That's why it matters. It wasn't like an act of God. It wasn't a fire. The man didn't run in bussing. So it's totally senseless. What's sad is that she has mind effed him to the point that he literally killed for her. I'm not gonna blame the boy. I'm not gonna say anything about the boy. Because he wasn't wrong for that. Because when he walked in, it was the second and third hit. He saw that man hit his mom twice. He did what any person would have done. The 14-year-old had enough sense not to try to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like a bigger man, yeah, you could expect a bigger man to go in and like pull him off and them two tussle. But that 14-year-old, he's like a small dude. He had enough sense to not try to fight with the crazy man, but for some reason his mother didn't. I would have been mad if I was a hot dog stand worker. I would have gave both them their money back. Go take that somewhere else. Facts. Hold on. Where Facts. Her. It's totally her. I know I'm not supposed to say these things, but nah, she need to go to jail for that. Like she needs some time away to sit and I know, I get it. Everybody's not gonna get it. Everybody's not gonna understand. I know. But everybody quiet. Nobody has nothing to say. I have not heard any of the Black women podcast personalities news. I have not heard anyone say one thing in the direction of why did she not just walk away? And that is sad on us as a group of people. That's sad on us. We're like chickens walking around with our heads cut off. We have no direction, and everybody's just doing whatever they want to do. They all follow after their own minds, I think it says. And this is why we can't never get anywhere. This is exactly why we can't get anywhere. This is exactly why, because they would have done the same thing. Yeah, I would have done. If that was my mom and I walked in on that, yes, I'm letting them loose too. You know, and everybody talks about why Chris Brown didn't smack Will Smith back when he slapped him at the Oscars or whatever. And everybody got mad when Chris Brown said, "My parents taught me not to fight in front of white people." But I think that maybe if some more of us would kind of keep that thought in our head, then maybe it would prevent a lot of foolishness. I can't. Oh, who did I say? Did I not say Chris Rock? I'm sorry. I can't try to. Who did I say? Chris Smith? I'm sorry, y'all. My bad. I said Chris Brown. I don't even listen to Chris Brown like that. My bad, you guys. Chris Rock. When Chris Rock got, we all know Chris Brown ain't got no problem using his hands. That's not who I meant, y'all. My bad. But yeah, y'all know who I meant. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we all need to kind of adopt that that thought process. Yeah, listen, Chris Brown would have definitely hit him back. It'd have been an all-out brawl right there on the Oscars. That now we would have been embarrassed, okay? But if we adopted, we all thought like that, even when someone is hitting us, right? Even if someone puts their hands on us. And look, I know it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's that automatic reflex. But think about how many deaths could have been prevented. See, we don't see that for some reason. We don't think that the worst that can happen to us. Like we see these stories, we've heard the stories time and time again. I'm sure, especially, hello, they live in Chicago. Wasn't this like the murder capital of the world or something? I mean, so I'm not understanding why the thought process is not to prevent what could happen. Like, why isn't the thought process, let me not even put myself in this situation? And see, I tell my kids all the time, all it takes is 1 second. That's all it takes. 1 second, one bad decision to change your life. In this case, it took her minutes because she had more than a second to change her mind. She had more than a second to make a different decision. Put your hands on me, you get knocked the F out. No, you talking wrong. No, I know. I know, honey. And I get that. But what I'm saying is, imagine if you stopped. You know what I'm saying? And stopped it from escalating. And I look, I'm not saying let nobody beat on you. And listen, I'm not even sitting here telling y'all that if somebody hit me, I'm not going to hit them back. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is, how about we just don't put ourselves in those situations? I mean, unless somebody just walk up and sneak you for some odd reason, you can prevent that. So why don't we just look to, I mean, how many road rage incidents have we seen happen? How many other arguments have we seen turned into killings? Why? All because someone couldn't walk away. Someone couldn't have shut up. If she would have used a soft answer to turn away wrath. Exactly. If she would have just been like, it's all good, buddy. Go ahead and get your hot dog. What's the problem with that? She would have felt punked. And see, that's the other thing. She would have felt punked. She would have felt like she was being disrespected, right? But what now? Okay, you stood your ground and you ain't gonna let no nigga tell me. And who do he think he is? And he ain't gonna. Don't do me because I was here for. Who cares? And this is what I'm saying. People that have something to lose don't think like that. Don't start no. Exactly. Yes, we know that song in this house. Who think y'all gotta elevate your mindset? You don't see rich people arguing over hot dogs. They don't argue over nothing. Hell. Yeah, let me buy your hot dog. Who's gonna go first? I don't care. Whoever go first. I mean, come on. And yes, there should be a greater expectation from us as women. Yes, because we're supposed to be the mothers. We're supposed to be the nurturers. Yes. See, here's the thing. Like, we want, they don't even eat hot dogs. we want to be held in this image. We want everyone to respect our femininity, and we want to be able to be ladies and be soft and be careful, but you don't want to act like a lady. You don't want to act soft, and you don't act like you want to be cared for. Because who can protect you when you won't shut up? I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it's the truth. Who's going to protect you if you won't even shut up and listen? You couldn't even think enough to protect yourself. Like your brain has a self-preservation mechanism. Like that's why you can't drown yourself, like unless you're on drugs. Like try it. Like you of yourself cannot keep yourself under the water. Your body is going to try to free itself. So even in the midst of this argument, her brain was probably sending them signals like, we should go now. We should go now. This nigga is crazy. We should go now. Not one point. She wouldn't even stop and listen to her freaking self. So how is a man and then y'all be mad when a man don't want you because you won't submit to God. Because he know if you won't even submit to the Most High, how you going to listen to him? How you going to listen to him? My man don't want to spend no time with me. Why would he want? Look at how you acting. Why would he want to? Every time y'all, listen, the Bible lays it out. It is up to you to conform to him. It's not up to him to conform to you. He's the leader. Listen, when you go work any job, you conform to the expectations of your supervisors on that job, right? On a regular day, you don't care how fast you take a phone call, but when you signed up and you got that customer service job and they told you that you needed to take 10 calls an hour, your behind sat there and made sure that you took them 10 calls an hour. Did you not? They tell you to be there at 8 a.m. You are there at 8 a.m. Are you not? Attitude and all, but you're there. Let's take it up even further. Your child is sick and they tell you, oh no, you can't take off work. You got to come to work. You have your butt at work, do you not? She didn't discern at all, sis. None. So you don't have a problem complying to everything else. You don't have a problem submitting to everything else. But the man that you choose to lay with every night, this bum gets no respect. And he has to watch you go out and be and don't be going to church, honey. Don't, because you turn into sister so-and-so at church. And she's so sweet and she's so kind and she is blessed and highly favored of the Lord. And she is prophesying and she got a word for everybody. But as soon as you get in that car, hell on wheels. Listen, be there early, okay? You be at work early. But you won't listen to a man. A man who you say has your best interest at heart. And let's go even further, because you're not supposed to be having sex if you're not married, okay? Let me be clear about that. But y'all are laying up with a nigga who trying to build something with you. Trying to. And you won't even cooperate with that. And the thing is, no matter how you feel, no matter how society has changed the rules, I don't care what year it is, the consequences of your actions do not change, okay? Fire is as old as time. And guess what? If I go and touch the fire, I'm still going to get burnt. Whether it's 2023, 1923, 1823, you can go back hundreds of years. And in every time period, when you touch fire, you are going to get burned. So guess what? In 2023, in 1823, in 1523, sex is marriage. When you lay down and have sex, you are making a covenant before God, whether you choose to recognize it with your mouth or not. This is like if I come up in your house and I take your juice out your refrigerator and you come and ask me, did you take my juice out my refrigerator? Just because I say I didn't, does that make it true? No, I lied. I'm lying. And that's what y'all are doing when y'all sit up here talking about, yeah, I'm sleeping with him, but it don't mean nothing. Yeah, I'm sleeping with him, but we're not married. You're lying. That's your husband in the sight of the Lord. You laid down with it and you told God, yep, this is what I want. He does all those things that you say a husband should do. So let me make him a husband. That's what you've taken upon yourself. And so now you've taken it upon yourself. And now you want to go back and renege. Now you don't want him to be your husband. Now he can't tell you what to do. Oh, now he's not your husband. He's only your husband when you're laying on your back. That's wrong. And that's more of the same bull crap that we keep doing. We keep playing these games and wondering why we can't have healthy, successful relationships. And listen, I'm not one to sit here and every time something happens to somebody, be like, oh, that's what you get. That's what you get. No, it's not always karma, as y'all like to call it. Sometimes you just keep making bad decisions. But ma'am, sis, cousin, like until you're willing to sit down and say, hey, I keep making bad decisions. I wonder why. I need to do something about this. You're going to keep running in those circles, making those same bad decisions. And nothing's going to change. And this is another reason why we have to stop being scared to call each other out, because we're not going to help each other. Ignoring a person's wrong is not helpful. The Most High chastises us because he loves us. You correct me because you love me. Once you stop correcting me, I'm going to start feeling like you just don't care. It's just like, okay, you don't love me no more. You just going to let me walk out in the street with the cars. You just going to let me play with fire. You just going to let me jump off the roof. You just don't care to correct me anymore. And a lot of people like to be like, oh, well, those are such practical examples, but sin has the same effect. It burns you. It cripples you. It can kill you. Sin has the same effect. Y'all just don't like real examples because you don't want to acknowledge the reality of what you're doing. And we don't want to correct. We don't want correction. I had a conversation with a young lady last week. Was it last week? Week before last. And it was weird the way it happened, but she was considering having an abortion. And I was telling her, like, no, please don't. Like, it was her fourth child, and this is like her third or fourth baby dad. So she's like, no, I don't want to do it no more, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, don't do that. Like, don't add sin on top of sin, trying to make the situation better. And one of the things that she said, she was like, yeah, I run from judgment. You should not run from judgment. Righteous judgment in love? No, like, please correct me. Help me to be better. Because I'm tired of doing wrong. It's like we keep walking in the same circles over and over again. And I hate to say this, but even as Black women, as a group, we have walked ourselves down into the deep, dark parts of the abyss. Because I remember one time when Black girls just didn't do certain things. And it was just, it was just known, like, no, Black girls do not do that. You want to have a good time, you go find you a paper shaded woman to have a good time with. And when you're ready to settle down and act right, then you come over here and get one of us. And now, please, that is no such a thing. Y'all out here worse than me. Y'all out here running trains on niggas. But you still want to be respected and protected. You still want to be treated soft and delicate and feminine. And listen to me, it is not the world's responsibility to get on the femininity train before you decide to be the woman that you are. Okay. And I can understand being single and not being able to totally be vulnerable. I get that. But that does not mean that you have to walk around in some adopted masculine energy. That is not what that means. There's a way to remain feminine, yet strong. Femininity does not make you weak. Putting yourself in a position to be protected does not make you weak. It makes you smart. Listen, I just recently started picking up boxes and stuff, okay? Because I've been helping with the print doctors. And so that requires some lifting. So if I'm down there working and stuff, I don't mind doing that. But even in that, my husband yells at me. He put the box down. Why are you doing this? Why? I only asked you to do this one part. Stop doing that. Me, even if I was to look at it, sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll be like, babe, I got it. It's no problem. That doesn't make me any stronger or anything else. If anything, that was dumb because that was a waste of energy. And I should have just put the box down and let him carry it. And I can be honest about that. You go out into the world. And here's what I'm saying. It's not up to you alone to change your appearance, your countenance, the energy that you give off. That's not something that you can do alone. Okay, you have to get right with the Most High so he can put that right spirit in you. You're walking around jaded from your influences from the world, when the fact of the matter is you need a softer heart to do the things that the Most High has called you to do, the things that you say that you want to do. This is the life you say you want to live. But you can't do that if you're always offensive, always rebellious, always nasty and standoffish, you can't reach anyone that way. No one's going to want to listen to you. They're not going to want to receive from you. And can you blame them? You're a woman. Like, when do we start equating womanhood with being equal to men? Because that's where we're at. We're at the point now where women are trying to prove that they can do everything that men can do. No, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, listen. Any man and any woman that fight a man like that, it fills me with a lot of questions. It just fills me with a lot of questions. Okay, but the beauty of being a woman is the fact that, yes, sure, if I have to carry a box, I can, but I don't have to because there's a man around that can do it. The beauty of being a woman is, no, I'm not out here worried about making an income. I'm not out here, doing this and that. But what I am doing is I'm at home preparing a home so that my man has a retreat and an oasis to come to, not another place of war and hell. I'm creating a place of peace for my family. That is where your energy needs to be going. Even as a single mom, like, your children deserve the best atmosphere that you can provide for them. They deserve all the stuff that you are waiting to do for a husband, as far as like improving your life and your cleanliness and stuff like that. Your kids would enjoy that as well. They deserve that too. Our nation is not going to get any better. Our families are not going to get any better until we as women get in line and be the support system that they need. Okay? It's like the men are standing, the men are ready to fight, they're ready to go, but where's their support system? You can't get anywhere without your legs. Sure, he's the head, but where's the neck? How is he turning and doing anything? How does he know where to look? How can he see where he's going? We don't want to play our part, and then we wonder why everything is out of place. It's like, my son loves to do puzzles. He's up to like 1,000 pieces right now. But if one of those puzzle pieces is missing, then the whole puzzle is messed up. Like, there's no way to hide it. Sure, we can try to build around it, but that hole is always going to be there. And it's the same thing as us. Look at us as a people. Okay? We have a large gap. A large gap in our, what do I want to call it? Menagerie in our family. Okay? In our family as a people. We have a large hole missing. And we as women, unfortunately, we don't want to humble ourselves. We don't want to slow down for a second. I'm sorry, y'all. The lights just went off on me. Let's see if I can get this over. Okay, no, that light's not working either. Okay, sorry. But what was I saying? Like, we just don't want to sit down and humble ourselves and play our part. It's like, if we're not the main character, then we don't want to be in the show. If it's not about us, then we can't be bothered to participate. And that's not efficient for the growing of people, for the growing of a family. I mean, if you look at things on a local and then a global scale, it's pretty much the same effect. I mean, imagine the mom missing from the home and all those things that she brings about that aren't being done anymore. Well, it's the same thing that our people are going through as a whole, except it's the mom. It's all the moms are AWOL. All the moms just said, forget it, we're leaving, we're gone. And so now you have motherless children, and this has been going on for a while. This isn't new. You know, it's not like it's a new problem and we can't understand where the issue came from. We've been watching the destruction of the Black family for a while now. So, yes, we know it was purposely done. We get all that. But for all our knowledge and all of our information now, when are we going to say, okay, enough mulling over the past, let's move forward? And see, I think a lot of people like to stay on the discussions of the past because then there's no responsibility, right? If I'm not coming to you with a solution, then, oh, well, there's nothing for me to do. We just have to all sit around and talk about how horrible it used to be and pontificate about solutions, okay, that have failed before and all this other nonsense instead of, again, humbling ourselves to the Most High, taking those rules and regulations, right? And giving people some kind of responsibility. Our people, some kind of responsibility. What is our responsibility? Keeping the laws of the Most High and the faith in Yahweh. Those are our responsibilities, right? That's what we're supposed to do, right? Are you trying to get in my lap? Okay.
There are 10 of the laws. The first one is don't steal.
Okay.
Don't be jealous.
Right.
Don't kill each other.
Right.
No other gods.
Okay.
Don't bow to statues.
Okay. What else?
Remember the Sabbath. Tell the truth to your parents.
Honor your parents.
Honor your parents.
Was that 10?
Yeah, I think.
You said don't be jealous.
Mhm.
Honor the Sabbath.
I thought there was one more.
Was that the first 10?
I think there was one more.
What?
Like 1 or 2 more.
What?
Mhm. I think we did all.
I don't think that's it. So we are going through the first 10 commandments. We don't call them the 10 commandments here because we understand that there are how many laws and commandments? 613. Very good, guys. We understand that there are 613 laws and commandments, but we had just focused on the first 10. Say hey to Auntie Angelina. Say hi.
Hi, Auntie Angelina. Hi.
So yeah, we've been going over the first 10. So I didn't even know Atticus was going to do that this evening. Very good, Atticus. Thank you very much. All right, let's run through our sponsors real quick. You gonna tell the people about F3?
Yeah, F3.
Tell them about the Fringed Up Family Fest.
Yeah.
When is it?
Family Fest. F3.
Do y'all know when it is?
No.
Sunday, July 30th.
July 30th.
Do you know where it is?
At the new house.
No, that's not our house. The place we went to with the house. Did you like it? It's a lot of space, right?
Heck yeah, we love it.
Heck yeah, we love. See, they love the space. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It is really just amazing. It's like a little oasis right here in Atlanta. It's going to be an awesome time. To get your tickets, if you would like to be a vendor, if you would like to sponsor a family, excuse me, please head over to www.3mgmusic.com. Again, that's 3 3 mgmusic.com. You can get your tickets there, your vendor tables, you can sponsor, you can donate, you can find out more information. Also, if you are not following my hubby at Monologue McGad, please give him a follow on your IG, your Facebook. He be on TikTok sometimes, but mainly on IG and Facebook. And that's another way to also stay posted about what's going on at the House of Mono and at F3. Also,
more people are watching us right now.
Yes, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am at Miss Mono's World on your socials and on YouTube. So hey, listen, even if you're not watching on my channel, head over to at Miss Mono's World on YouTube. There's some content on there. I have a lot of shorts, few videos, and like the last 3 or 4 podcast episodes are there. If you want to watch the older ones, you can always download the Nasaya TV app, Nasiya TV. It's on your Roku, on your Fire Stick, on your Apple TV, all that good stuff. And also, let's see what else. I think that's it for our sponsors at Mono's Westside Bullies. Oh, I didn't even bring a picture, you guys. Zelda had her puppies. How many puppies did she have? 11 puppies. There are 11 puppies. I have posted them. I'm gonna post some more pictures of them. But if you want to just take a look at them, you can head over to my IG or my TikTok because they are there. I don't think that's anything else. I hope to see you guys again next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat station. Me and the fam will be here at the House of Mono. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 times.
Let's see. Any other captions? If something I said helps you today or it helps you tomorrow, whenever it helps you, or you just like what we got going on over here at the House of Mono, please feel free to donate $ the House of Mono on Cash App. We thank you in advance. I really hope, for real, I hope something that I said helps you just get through something on today, or even just gives you something else to think about. If you have any topics of conversation for the show, or you want to send some video clips, something you want to get into, please feel free to DM it to me at Miss Mono's World. I'll be more than happy to go through it and see what we can pull from that. Okay, we have to go. We love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Say goodnight. Stop playing. Shalom and shalom. We love you. Good night.
Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side, hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. So clap for your home, boy.